So I'm back from New York City. Spent about a week there. Got back very early on Saturday. If anybody considers to themselves whether they have been in what they would perceive to be absolutely as a city, then go to New York. There you can definitely say you were in the city. It is exactly what people think it is. A huge city, and when it comes to the buildings, you can easily see, and I saw it with my own eyes, exactly why they call them skyscrapers. Now, we went all over the city when we were there, from Brooklyn to the Bowery to all across Manhattan, literally all across the city, everywhere in New York City we went. Uh, we went typical touristy places, more videos to still come on my YouTube channel. Of course, we went to places like obviously Statue of Liberty, Brooklyn Bridge, Empire State Building, Times Square, a lot of the tourist attractions. Um, Very busy city as well. You have to be very careful also if you're using the crossings. As I said, also on my view from New York City, you have to be careful with the crossings because drivers will still come across the crossings even when the white light is on. Because we have the green man over here, they have like a white lighted man in New York and a red hand to tell pedestrians stop walking. And they still come across even when it's supposedly, when you think over here in UK and Scotland, when that green man comes on, the traffic remains still, but not in New York. But it was an amazing experience to be in there the first time, obviously, for me to go to the United States of America, obviously then first time in New York City. It was amazing. And as I said, we went through all the touristy places. The week we were there, we stayed at the Broadway Plaza Hotel, like I said, and the view from there was actually a decent view. Very clean hotel, very nice hotel, very helpful staff. And the view from the hotel I put on as a view from the New York City video uh, is one of a fantastic view. What a decent view of the Empire State Building. Now, the hotel we stayed at was very centrally placed. We were only a few minutes walk from Times Square. As I said, obviously a couple of minutes walk from the Empire State Building. But there is, of course, other transport. We took a few tourist tours, bus tours in New York to go around the city a couple of times. There was also the subway, which I thought was actually not as bad as I kind of thought. I wasn't sure, to be honest, going to New York, what the subway would be like. Now, thankfully, we kind of deliberately did it. We travelled in the subway many times, but we did it off peak. When I mean off peak, I mean that we didn't do it at the very busy times, early in the mornings, the slightly early in the evenings, when people are going and coming from work, etc. Certainly a few interesting characters uh, in the subway and on the trains. Um, you got your typical beggars, you got your some actual very good entertainers as well. New York actually licenses people to go into the subway stations. There was at least a few years ago people licensed on the trains to appear in the trains, but I'm not sure whether they still do that. A couple of people, I don't know whether they chanced it and played their instruments etc. and sang in the trains, but a few of them were good, like Verbal Ase, Verbal ASE. I think my brother Ginger Tam Dundee has got a video up already of him. He was very good, a beatboxer. The week we were there was the anniversary of 9/11, the 12th anniversary. Very unusual, very weird to actually be there during that day, during those couple of days. A couple of days before the anniversary, we went to the 9/11 memorial. I'm not sure whether technically it's still called Ground Zero, but to say you go through airport security style um, checks, so obviously don't take any stupid stuff. But and you do get checked a couple of times. Well, once you're through, and I've only got a short video, so I'm going to borrow some of my brother's video because I was just, because I watched it on September 11th, 2001. I came in from college, saw what was happening, and watched it all happening live on TV. To be there at the 9/11 memorial, to be exactly where the Twin Towers stood, was amazing. It was a feeling I can't really describe, and I've been trying to describe it, just try to do a couple of these videos, but it's just, to be honest, it's just, you just have to go there, you have to be there, you have to look around to see the two massive square fountains with the plaques all around the North and South Pole, with all the victims' names carved into them. You just have to be there. It's a feeling I just genuinely, at this time, I just cannot describe. Like I said, watching it live on TV, to be there in person, to see all the building work as well. There were building work going on there 24/7 because they're still rebuilding it. The Freedom Tower is almost complete. That was the large structure that I'll put on the 9/11 memorial video. It was just very weird to go around both those north and south poles, and they're not, when they're talking pools, they're big. Obviously not a lot of people know this, but they're massive squares exactly where the Twin Towers stood, and they're waterfalls, and it there's a big one, and and the water rolls into a smaller square, and obviously it must, get, the water goes around and around the thingy. But I'll let you see it on my 9/11 memorial video. Very, very humbling, very just amazing feeling to be standing there. Obviously, obviously it's a tourist attraction as well now, but there was a lot of people there, which made it difficult sometimes to get a little bits of the footage. But it's just very weird feeling. And then to go also to the 9/11 museum, and I'm also going to include pictures I took at that museum as part of my 9/11 memorial video, because there was pictures of many articles and bits and pieces that were recovered on 9/11, not just from the Twin Towers, but from a couple of bits from the Pentagon as well. A lot of things that survived, tickets, a lot of keys, pieces of fire equipment that were used by the firemen, some sadly who didn't survive, and a lot of very unusual pieces that just happened to survive in the wreckage. It was very unusual. There was also a couple of wall displays with behind glass, with many of the photos of the victims, and I'm going to put a few of the few pictures that I took of those in my 9/11 memorial video as well, just to pay tribute to them, because it was amazing. It brung about home, because in obviously they said the names are carved into the sections attached to the North and South Poles in the memorial, and in the museum as well. I'm not too sure how exactly official the museum is. I think it is quite official, but in the museum they've got a big wall listing a couple of displays listing names, and like I said, it's got pictures of victims, pictures from the victim, obviously the pictures from the victims' family and friends. It was just, again, a very weird experience to look at all these pictures and to know that these are all victims in 9/11, to know that they're all passed away because of what happened on that day. Just unbelievable. We also went down on the anniversary very late at night to see the tower lights, the two tower lights that they lit that night on September 11th. Obviously they do it every year. Very humbling as well. I'll put up a couple of pictures of the lights as well. They're not exactly great pictures because we went down near the 9/11 Memorial to see the lights, but because of the position of the lights, you can't really get near them. It was, really far away. To be honest, by the time we got down there, it was very very late at night. So it's very difficult. You couldn't really get right up close to them, but it was just amazing. Just that was one of the places that we felt the need to visit. It was just a humbling experience, a very shocking experience. Though well worth it. If you're going to New York, go down to the 9/11 Memorial, get your tickets in advance, I would say, so you could skip some of the queues that like we said earlier, the staff at the Broadway Plaza were able to help with that as well. So it was just amazing. But overall, it was a great visit. I would definitely visit New York again. As I said, I would definitely stay at that Broadway Plaza Hotel. If you're going to New York, I would recommend the Broadway Plaza Hotel. Absolutely. It was a very clean hotel. Yeah, there's a continental breakfast very early in the morning. It's not very much. There's some rolls, some bread, jam, etc. But there's drinks available 24 hours a day. Not alcohol, but tea, coffee, milk, etc. available 24 hours a day. Very nice, very clean hotel. Very nice staff, as I said, very helpful. And also we just used it as a base, really, for our stay in New York. But certainly, I really, really enjoyed my time in New York City. More videos, like I said, to Nino Memorial, but look at the Empire State Building, a quick tour of the outside of Madison Square Garden, and a couple other pieces that I'll put up in the coming days and weeks when I get a chance to get some of the footage from my brother and a few of the photos, because I didn't take them all on my camera, so I need to gather to get back some of my photos that I can put up in my videos. But certainly very enjoyable New York. It's a long flight there. I'm not. It was I'm not a great flyer either. Perhaps this is a height thing, but I'm really not a great flyer. But it was well worth putting up with the flight. Well worth a visit if you're in New York. To go to these touristy places. Very hot. Central Park, 96 degrees was recorded as the highest temperature while over there. It was extremely hot walking around New York City, but absolutely very enjoyable time in New York.